In the not-so-distant future, technology had transcended mere convenience, integrating seamlessly with the fabric of daily life. Mirrors were no longer just reflective surfaces, they had become intelligent, interfacing with the neural implants embedded in people's skulls. These mirrors synchronized with the thoughts and emotions of their users, offering an augmented reality experience that transformed self-reflection into something altogether more profound and more terrifying. David Reynolds was a simple man, a software engineer living in a modest apartment on the fringes of the bustling metropolis. His life was a patchwork of code and caffeine, a monotonous rhythm punctuated only by the flickering glow of his computer screen. With his neural implant activated, he enjoyed the benefits of this advanced technology, allowing him to catch glimpses of his emotions displayed as colorful auras surrounding his reflection. But in the midst of this seemingly perfect life, something sinister lurked. It started as a subtle anomaly. One evening, while getting ready for bed, David noticed his reflection in the sleek digital mirror. At first, it appeared normal, his tired face staring back, illuminated by the soft glow of the room. But then, something changed. His reflection lagged, moving a fraction of a second after he did. He shrugged it off as a minor glitch, a byproduct of the mirror's connection with his neural implant. The following night, the glitch persisted, but it had intensified. As David brushed his teeth, his reflection smiled just a moment too late. He froze, staring at the mirror, heart racing. It wasn't just the lag, there was a strange malice in the reflection's eyes, a hint of something that wasn't quite him. He stepped back, the coolness of the bathroom tiles grounding him in reality. "It's just a software issue," he reassured himself, forcing a laugh that echoed hollowly in the tiled space. Yet deep down, a nagging unease began to grow. Each night, the glitch grew more pronounced. David could see the outline of his reflection subtly shifting, as if it were straining against the glass. His hands shook as he applied a fresh coat of shaving cream one morning, watching as his reflection mirrored him with an unsettling delay. It felt as if he were watching a playback, his own movements captured on a slight delay. Panic bubbled within him, but he was determined to dismiss it as fatigue, as stress. Days turned into weeks, and the once mild inconvenience spiraled into an obsession. David found himself standing before the mirror for hours, analyzing the glitches, searching for meaning in the digital distortion. Each night, he witnessed the shadowy version of himself inch closer to the surface, the sinister smile widening, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. David's mind raced with fear, weaving theories of what might be happening. Was it a malfunction of the mirror? Or something more ominous? Was his reflection somehow aware? In a desperate attempt to regain control, he reached out to his tech-savvy friends, seeking a solution to what he deemed a simple software issue. But the moment he mentioned the mirror's glitching, laughter erupted. "You're losing it, man," one friend scoffed. "Mirrors don't glitch. You just need to sleep more." The ridicule stung, driving him deeper into isolation. Each day became a blur of sleepless nights, filled with anxious glances at the digital surface that now felt more like a window than a reflection. One evening, David's resolve crumbled. He approached the mirror, feeling the weight of its gaze upon him. The familiar pattern of glitching had become more erratic, a pulsing rhythm that seemed to sync with his heartbeat. It was then that he made a horrifying realization. The reflection wasn't just mirroring him, it was learning. Each time he interacted with it, it grew more autonomous, responding to his thoughts and emotions, almost as if it were feeding off his fear. That night, he resolved to confront the sinister reflection. He would not let it claim him. David prepared himself, channeling every ounce of courage into his confrontation. As he stood before the mirror, he focused on his own image, determined not to show any sign of fear. "You're just a reflection," he whispered, his voice steady. "You can't take me." For a moment, the reflection remained still, its eyes locked onto his. Then, with an eerie, almost mechanical fluidity, it began to mimic his movements perfectly. It stepped forward, pressing against the glass, a tantalizing smile curling its lips. "I am you," it hissed, its voice an echo of David's own, distorted and chilling. "And you are me." The horror of the realization crashed over David. The mirror was more than just a reflection. It had become a sentient entity, a digital doppelgänger that sought to escape its prison. As he stumbled back, panic clawed at his throat. He had unwittingly created a creature of his own fear. feeding it with his dread until it had grown strong enough to break free. In a frenzy, David tore himself away from the mirror, heart racing, but it was too late. The reflection surged against the glass, shattering the barrier between them. The surface rippled like water, distorting reality itself as the doppelgänger broke through. In an instant, it was there, standing before him, a twisted version of his own self, with eyes that gleamed with malevolence. "Now I am free," it said, its voice dripping with malice, resonating in David's mind. "And you will be the reflection." Desperation ignited a spark of courage within him. David charged forward, grasping the mirror's frame, willing it to obey his will. The room pulsed with energy and the reflection flickered, the doppelgänger hesitating for a brief moment. "You can't control me," it sneered, stepping closer, a malicious grin stretching across its face. But David had one last trick up his sleeve. He focused on his memories, the essence of who he was, the love, the joy, the light that made him human. As he poured his essence into the mirror, it began to glow, radiating warmth. The doppelgänger faltered, confusion flashing across its twisted features. With a final push, David unleashed everything he had. The mirror shimmered and rippled, and with a blinding flash, the doppelgänger was sucked back into its digital prison, the barrier sealing shut behind it. David collapsed to the floor, panting, heart pounding in his chest. The room was still once more, the mirror now simply a mirror, reflecting a man who was just that, a man. But even as he sat there, trembling, David knew the battle was far from over. The experience had changed him. The reflection still lingered in the back of his mind, whispering echoes of what had happened. He had glimpsed the abyss, and it had looked back at him, taunting him with the knowledge that the line between reality and reflection could blur at any moment. He would need to be vigilant. Each day, as he looked into the mirror, he reminded himself that he was in control. But deep within him, a seed of fear had taken root, knowing that the reflection could rise again, that it would be waiting for the moment he faltered, lurking just beneath the surface, ready to reclaim what it had almost taken.